One of the classic cracks of the Peak. 3 stars though.
Cool. How do we get there?
Pretty amazing. Sheffield City Centre.
You can get a bus or a train straight from the Peaks into the city.
It's the first move, where you do like a sort of throw up there.
It was amazing. That's it.
Lovely.
Get that heel on.
You'll be okay. Technical climb. I'm going to be fit after this.
Okay, we're climbing. It's so good! Woohoo!
Yeah.
Sheffield awaits. 48 riders are pumped and ready to roll for the Howard Street Duel. The course is a tight and tense 315 metres with rollers, kickers and 12 corners. Can Brett Penfold claim his title back from Steve Peat, or will the Sheffield legend take the top spot once again? And who will take the crown from two-time champion Carrie Poole? Welcome to Sheffield, the outdoor city. We're here on Howard Street for the Duel Slalom, as part of the city's Festival of the Outdoors.
It's so exciting. It's a month-long festival full of outdoors adventures and activities. They have a film festival this weekend, and tomorrow for the bike obsessed they have a hill climb. But today is all about going downhill, and you've given it a go already yourself.
Yeah, luckily earlier on I managed to blag a nice bike from Kotick and have a roll down the Duel Slalom. So let's have a look how I got on. Here we are at the start gate, right outside the entrance to Sheffield Hallam University. Riders will be straight into these steps, one in the blue lane, one in the red. After the riders have been released and dropped down the steps, they're straight into the wooden rollers, which, as you can see, aren't right here at the moment. If you want to ride them, you're going to have to race next year, but they'll be rolling through them manually or jumping into the next section. We're now into the first sender of the course. Riders don't want to go too big on this because there's a corner almost immediately. Out of the tight corner, it's straight into the grass rollers. As the evening goes on, these are going to get a little bit of dampness on them, and so they're bound to be far more slippy. So watch out here for loads of action. This here is Chaos Corner, and the reason why is because we've seen lots of falls here over the last 2 years. You're coming off the grass and then into the wood. Get it nicely right and you can come out the other side with loads of speed. Get it nastily wrong and you can either slide out on the outside or hit that tree on the inside. All important to carry as much speed as possible out of Chaos Corner. There's a little bit of space to pedal here, but you're pretty much straight into this chicane, which sends you into the next sender. Off the sender, it is straight into the longest corner of the course. As you can see, it's just a long continual left where it's all important to keep your grip the whole way through. If it gets wet here, people are going to be sliding off and taking my legs out. This is the final dramatic fade into the finish area. At the top, there's a sneaky little right-hander to catch you out, but then you've got to hop into this final bit and get as much pump for the finish line. Now that is one fun track. Absolutely incredible how much variety the team managed to pack into this small urban space. Something on here to challenge absolutely everyone. I've certainly enjoyed it, and thanks to Kotick for lending me this rocket. It's been amazing. Cheers.
Not looking too bad yourself there, Rich, though. I reckon I could have gone faster.
It wasn't slow-mo, you know.
Well, the pros are heading to be going down in about 27 seconds. Pretty quick. What's it like out there?
Yeah, it's a great little track. I was thinking before I rode it, having watched it last year, that all the changes in surface that go on throughout it might make it feel a bit disjointed, but actually riding it, it all links together beautifully and is really fun to ride. you know, changing from the tarmac to the grass, and then there's some rubber matting, wooden berm. You kind of think, oh, you know, how's that going to all link? But yeah, the flow of the track, it was really nice and good fun. Good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But enough of the fun stuff. Let's talk about how the racing works, the rules, the boring stuff. Let's see if I can get my head around this. So it's head-to-head racing. The racers have done their qualifications now already, and the fastest timed rider is going to be put head-to-head against the slowest timed rider. They'll battle it out. They each get to go down one lane once each, and their times get added together, and the fastest time goes through to the next round, and the slowest time is out of here. So we've got 36 male riders, 16 female riders, so I'll let you do the maths.
Yeah, so we'll have 32 men qualifying, so we've got 32 down to 16, down to 8, then 4, then 2 in the final, and then you've got your one winner at the end. That's how we figure out who's winning.
Well done, well done. And who's that going to be? Well, you were speaking to Lena earlier.
Yeah, Lena Hoffman's come over from Germany, and she's been enjoying some local riding, but is also competing here this weekend. So I caught up with her earlier to find out what she makes of this great event here in the centre of Sheffield. Welcome to Sheffield, Lena. We normally used to seeing you on the downhill circuit, so something a little bit different for you this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Never raced a dual race before, so I'm super excited.
Really? Never raced dual at all? Full cross at all? Anything like that? Or?
I had just one 4-cross race like 3 years ago. Was not that good for me. So let's see what happened today.
What are you expecting from this event?
Just having fun, racing against other girls. This is always nice. Yeah.
And your bike setup, we see you here on the lovely Juliana, I have to say, nice colour. Have you done anything particular setup-wise for this race, or what are you thinking for it?
Yeah, just put a little bit more pressure on the suspension to make it harder, and a little bit more compression. But I don't change that a lot because it's then too different for me, and I think that's not good.
Yeah, it's a good call. And have you had a chance to look at the track yet?
Not yet, but I will do it later or now.
And what do you think about qualifying coming up? That's going to be your first challenge of the evening.
Yeah, I think so, to do a clean run and a safe run, so let's see.
And looking at the field this evening, we've got half as many women competing as there are men. So what can we do to encourage more women to these races?
First, I would like to say that I think it's good to have at least half of the women than men. I expected it would be less, because in downhill there are even less women. I think you should just show the women how good and how fun this sport is, and that it's not that dangerous as they always think, and give them the chance to try it and to ride it. So like these events here, perfect.
Yeah, and it's good that it brings it right to the city centre where people that aren't normally introduced to mountain biking can see it.
Yeah, just show them how beautiful the sport is and what you can discover with the sport.
Brilliant, and on that note we'll let you get up there and having some fun in practice. Cheers.
So, thanks.
Very modest, but she's definitely one of the favourites here for the women's race today. And it looks like the race is just about to get started right now, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, it's been a quick build-up here. We've had all the riders up there. They've done one qualifying run so far and determined who's actually starting in which order. And because of that, as you were saying in the explanation, we have the fastest rider against the slowest here to start off.
And do we know who they are yet?
Yeah, so I believe in the gate at the moment we've got Brett Penfold versus Rob Shaw.
Okay, good. So Brett Penfold, he's definitely one of the favourites here today as well, isn't he?
Yeah, so we can see him there in the right-hand lane on screen.
It's a big crowd.
And here we go, this is the first race we're off. Brett Penfold already showing his talent with a fast start. You can see why he's the fastest qualifier today. He's got a good length already, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much obvious who's got this one, unless something drastic happens. I think he can just roll quite safely through to the finish line here, as we can see them coming in, and he's well got that one.
Yeah, so Brett Penfold already stamping his authority on this event. Fastest qualifier. We've seen him battle out with Steve Peat in the past, so it's going to surely that's going to be the showdown at this event. So here we are now. We're into the second heat. This is Duncan Faris versus Scott Woolley. So Duncan having a good qualifying, obviously, and I was chatting to him just before, and he was saying it's hard to judge the speed on this course, how much to take each obstacle by. It's kind of, as I was saying, with the changing surfaces, it's a difficult thing to gauge.
Yeah, and not just the changing surfaces, but the fact that features come up so quickly one after the other. You might feel that you want to go really fast, so you're saying like out of the jump, but then you've got a corner straight on you straight away, so maybe it's better to take it slower in certain areas.
Yeah,
well,
definitely. and we can see the crowd here already. I mean, that's the great thing about an event right here in the centre. It's just like people just wandering past can pop in, or people can come specifically for it.
I couldn't believe it, actually. You know, an hour to go before the event's even kicking off, and the crowd is already building. It's obviously a popular event, and it's been going on for 3 years now. So I guess the local people have got a little bit of a taste for it, and now they know what they're coming out and what to expect as well.
See Duncan getting warmed up there, getting them shoulders ready. Experienced racer Duncan.
Oh, the tension must be building up there, starting to feel nervous. It's the worst when you just kept on the start line, isn't it? When you just got to
get yourself ready to go.
Wait.
It's an amazing venue here. We're just outside, literally where those barriers are at the bottom right of the screen is barricading off Sheffield Hallam University, and that's the main entrance into it there. So there we go. Duncan already fast off the start, doubling and then manualing the next two.
You can really see through the wooden woots right at the very top there the way that the faster riders are jumping. Oh no!
So we've got Scott down already. I think he just came out of that corner with a bit too much speed.
And just to talk about the rules again here, being the boring one, if you crashed, you get given a 1.5 second penalty.
Here we go, we're on to the next heat. This is James Farrer and Richard Baybott. Richard already shown, he's the slower qualifier here, but he's looking good.
He must have had a bad run in qualifying for one reason or another, and now he's able to show what he's actually made of.
There we go.
So which side is the fastest side here? Because each rider gets to race in each lane, don't they?
Well, we're going to find that out as we go on. So we've got Steve Peat, the local legend, downhill world champion. He won it last year and he's going to want to be taking it again. Very proud of his hometown.
He's also the one the crowd are going to be going nuts for as well. Definitely the favourite, and not just in terms of winning, but in terms of popularity.
Make up for there. He won't be having as good a pick through the heats as he would have liked to, but he's definitely got the talent to fight his way through. So this is James Hughes versus Ben Crooks. James qualifying really well actually, and talented racer. I used to race downhill with him, and you can see why he's did so well back in the day. He's doing well still here.
Yeah, the full sus bikes making a little bit of a breakthrough here today.
People are enjoying, liking favouring the full sus bikes at this event actually.
Maybe if they've got a downhill background, like you say, your friend there, it's sticking with what they know, something they're comfortable with.
So next up we've got Stephen Taylor and Jordan Baton, making them sweat a little bit on the gate. Go and they're off. And see, it's hard, like Stephen there, he didn't quite get enough of a snap out off the very top, and so he struggled to get the speed down the steps. You can see the whole way he was just pumping, trying to develop more speed.
Oh, but it's close, this one. These two are very matched in abilities. They both really want this.
Yeah, we can see them coming down into the final. That final drop, you can't really see it, and if you slide out a little bit, pushing it too hard, that's where you'll end up. So there might be a little bit of a delay now as they're tidying up the tapes at the bottom. Bit of a mess down there.
And it's just a little bit slippy, isn't it? It can catch you out. The grass, it's not, you know, it doesn't look like anything particularly technical or anything that's going to catch you out, but it's just the sheer slippiness of the grass.
Grass, it's a slippy old thing, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's putting the course back together now.
So yeah, as you were saying earlier, Anna, that so in that case where he's crashed, he's obviously lost quite a bit of time, but to keep the suspense and keep it a battle till the end, he'll only have to make up 1.5 seconds in the second round. So if he comes through and beats the competitor from that, by more than 1.5 seconds, he'll be the one advancing to the next round.
Exactly, and it's great. It just means that if you have an unlucky run, it means that the best rider can still have an opportunity to go through, even if you do have a bit of a tumble or a mechanical or a flat or anything like that. Oh, here we go. And we've got William Swindon and Rob Campbell there.
So it looks like that's William taking it. Nice lead there. Oh, and you can see that grass is already getting slippy there. That one safely in the bag.
Yeah, Rob came quite chilled through to the finish line there. He knew that there was no catching up the last little bit there.
Right, back up to the top, we got Alistair Barron and Michael Vickers.
So Alistair Barron, as I understand, is a local student. He's
he hasn't had to come far from uni then, has he?
No, it's all right for some.
Yeah.
He hasn't had to have a 12-hour journey from Spain, has he? Dedication.
Racing just outside of his classrooms.
Hopefully he's got some supporters, some fans in the crowd. I wonder what the students make of it.
It's pretty cool to be having a race down through where you study, isn't it? It's, it's all right. That.
A bit bonkers. And that's kind of what this event is about. It's to showcase, as it said on the website, showcase what goes on in the woods and the forests around Sheffield. Oh, here we go.
Manual in.
Neck
and then manual last two. Oh, and look at the speed. Michael Vickers getting down there. He's made up some gap. He lost a little bit on the first section. He's making it up now. And then the blue lane here is obviously a smaller corner, so you're going to come out quicker out of that.
It does go to show that when you're getting similar abilities, you really have it all to play for throughout the whole race. You had Alistair looking like he was going to bring it back at one point in that race and then lost it again. We're just going into the next race. Straight off, they're just pushing through the racing really, really quickly, keeping the crowd entertained. Not such a level playing field on this one.
Yeah, so we got Jasper Joach and Alex has won that one nice and easily. Next up, we've got Gaz Wilson and Owen Scott.
They're ready.
Oh, has he jumped? He looked like he's maybe jumped that little bit.
Was that a jump start, or was that just a slow start on the B line there?
Yeah.
Not clear what happened.
Not too sure whether Owen Scott's got away with murder there, or whether Gaz Wilson was left sleeping. Work to do.
Well into it now, and they're both across the line.
Next up we got Tim Pearson and David Camus.
It's great that they're getting the races going so quickly, one behind the other. It just keeps the crowd entertained, doesn't it? Keeps everyone on their toes.
Yeah, it's a cool thing with duel, isn't it? It's just rapid fire, isn't it? Knackering if you're racing though, because as soon as you're down at the bottom you're straight back up to the top.
I mean, it doesn't look like much. How tiring can it be racing for 27 seconds or so?
It's tiring. People always say that about downhill. They just go, you're just going downhill all the time. But it's still one of the most hardest things you can do.
As you can see, there's plenty of pedalling at the start there, so you've got to put the effort in, and then it's just controlling the bike the whole way down.
So it looks like Tim's going to have the tighter line into the finish, but he isn't quite able to make that one up. Again, fairly tight race, so all to play for in the next heat. Coming up next, we've got an old teammate of mine, Rich Beatty, and William Keo.
So was
Beatty, an old BMXer, so he should know how to play this game well. And you can see already, pitch perfect through them rollers. And look at that, he's just gaining speed the whole way down the grass bank, just pumping every bit as much as he can. How's he going to fare on this grass corner?
But they are good at mastering small technical and rapid fire features one after the other, and bike control as well. BMXs, they are the kings of bike control.
So we've got Damien Groves up and Mattie Cowell. You can see the big suspension bikes, but on the rollers they're a little bit lumbersome and maybe not gaining as much speed as on a shorter travel bike or a hardtail, but he's making it work for him out in front.
hard to pedal your way through that grass section there. It's slightly downhill and a little bit off camber by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, that big long left-hander. Yeah, it's going to be getting slippier and slippier as the night goes on. And then we've got Aiken on the right-hand lane and Jack Drogan on the left. I was talking to Aiken earlier, and he was riding a hardtail last year, and said switched to a suspension bike and much preferring it this year. So I think maybe the hardtail's not the choice of bike here, really.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, he said he's
because
feeling
you would
much
have thought it would be the other way round.
Yeah.
Since you'd ridden the course.
Yeah, he said he's feeling much more comfortable on it. So we'll see how he fares this time. A little bit of he's lost his foot on the steps. I know that was Jack actually on the right. So Aiken actually looking all right.
Oh, he's looking very confident and fast through there.
Look at that, jumping into that little flat bank into the corner, into Cowell's corner. Nice.
Sweet little jump into the finish line.
Yeah, keeping it nice and casual, but hitting everything the way needed.
Just looked like he was playing there. Playful.
So we got William Easy and Dave Griffiths.
Easy.
William got a good start there. Said he was on flats last year. It was flats this year, and he slid out on the big left corner in his clips, trying to keep his feet up. So we'll see if he gets his left foot down this time. Plenty of distance, taking a comfortable heat win there.
That's what happens when you have this event now happening year after year. You have people coming back with regrets and bitterness and things that they want to make up for. They've had to wait a whole year to be able to make it up, and we're off into the next race.
We've got Andrew Devine and Gareth Jones. So it looks like Gareth in the right-hand lane there. Tight coming out of there, coming out of the Chaos corner, pretty close together. Down neck and neck into the finish line. That's going to be pretty tight, I think.
That was a battle. Could you call it?
Nah.
I wouldn't want to put money on that one. Let's leave it to the officials. Oh, bit of pizza loitering in the screen there.
Oh, it's good. Smells that pizza smell's been drifting down the course all afternoon. It's been tempting me.
Power of technology is doing amazing things, streaming this live right now to the people that can't make it to Sheffield, but they can't feed us pizza through the screen.
They can bring us some. So here we go. We got Brett Penfold, fastest qualifier, and showing he's fast again. Rob Shaw having a chance at redemption, but I don't think he's going to do much against Brett today. Oh! I say that, but Brett's now missed the gate, so he's got to get himself back off. Oh, commentator's curse. He's going to make it cleanly, but I think that means he's thrown that away. So our fastest qualifier has just chucked that one in the bin.
Just goes to show, doesn't it, that really anything can happen, and you can't get complacent, you can't get too casual. What really happened? Weighed a little bit too far forward coming out of the corner, it looks like.
So here we go, we've got Duncan Faris and Scott Wally.
Come on, Wally.
Duncan took the first one. Oh, we're just missing off the screen. Oh, and I think Duncan's had an issue somewhere and lost a bit of time. So it's going to be tight to see who takes that one. So confirming from that first heat, Brett Penfold, our fastest qualifier, is out of this evening's competition. That one mistake coming out of the corner absolutely ruined his night, so we won't see him challenging Steve Peat again in the finals.
He must be absolutely gutted.
And Duncan Faris has just taken that one by 0.8 of a second from their combined time, so we'll see Duncan Faris going through to the next round against Rob Shaw. So Rob Shaw, one of the slowest qualifiers, against Duncan Faris now, so Duncan, good chance there. But as we can see, Rob's already survived one round, so he might be able to survive some more. Up next, we've got James Fowler and Richard Baber. James taking it in the first heat by 1 second. So we'll see, can Richard make that up this time?
So Richard, he's a local here to Sheffield and a very talented photographer, actually. But also a fairly decent bike rider. So let's see how he gets on in the racing. Holding them on the start line for a little bit longer than usual there. It does build the tension, doesn't it?
I can still see that pizza loitering.
They're off.
There we go.
We've got
James Farrer looks like he's going to take this one again. Confidently out front. Oh, and Richard's pushed it too hard. So there we go. Got James Farrer leading out nicely there. Richard pushing hard to make up that second deficit, but just pushing a little bit too hard out of that corner.
Well, that's just it, isn't it? When you can see someone just ahead of you, you want to push it and give it all you've got. And I don't know, to judge that limit between what you're capable of.
Well, we came out that all over the shop. I don't know. Like I thought you'd be. I thought he would have oversteered and got too much pump out the corner, but I think he went one way and swapped back the other. So here we go. Got Steve Peat. Comfortably took the first round, but he's lost a foot. Oh, what's happened there?
It's all going wrong for the top riders here today. This is not what anybody expected.
What's happened with Pete? He looks like he's lost a... So there we go. Pete, he took the first round.
Going to be coming through the grass, through the finish line here.
I think he might have snapped a pedal off or something.
When you say lost a pedal, you literally mean like, oh,
yeah,
where's my pedal?
Yeah, lost it,
gone.
yeah. There you go. Oh, crank. There's a crank and a pedal being picked up off the start.
Oh, no.
Maybe now he's not at the races every weekend. He's doing his mechanicking himself.
Risky stuff.
Yeah.
When you're so used to relying on someone else to do everything for you.
Yeah. Hasn't quite picked up how to use an Allen key over the years.
Wow.
But yeah, absolutely gutted there for Petey. So we've got two of our favourites out already. Brett Penfold, fastest qualifying. Steve Peat, last year's winner, out of the competition. So this is going to give a chance for some real battles later on, I think. Yeah, gutted for the local hero, Petey there. There'll be some disappointed fans that he's gone out, but I guess maybe he was trying to pedal through the rollers a little bit too eager. There we go. We got James Hughes, won the first round nice and comfortably, and he's looking confident and comfortable again, carrying nice speed through the rollers, just taking it all in his stride. Oh, Ben was like... Yeah, James Hughes has got that one in the bag again. So nice, comfortable first round for James. So now we'll see who will face James in the second round. So we've got Stephen Taylor and Jordan Baton. Jordan taking it by 2.5 seconds in the first round.
Oh, and just coming out of that corner there, he lost his footing, and then that guy hit the flag, so I really don't know who's going to take it. And it looks like Taylor took it there. Yeah. So we've got the riders lining up still for the second round, and they are off. Rob Campbell there in the B line and William Swindon on the A line, and they were neck and neck. Oh, but we've lost a pedal down on the saddle, but he's managed to hold it. He doesn't come off the bike there. This is a close race. We'll have to see how the times add up for them, see who goes through to the next round, because they were obviously very, very close as races.
Next up, we have Alistair Barron and Michael Vickers. Vickers taking it in the first round, but only by 0.45 of a second, so it was tight there. That could just be the difference between the two courses. So we'll see, they're close again. As we'll see coming into the final drop, it's going to be close. Michael Vickers just a little bit behind this time. So was his lead of 0.45 enough from the first heat? We're going to see, just waiting for the clock to tick over, but that is going to be a close one.
Setting off the next race for the second round. It's a really, really obvious clear start for line A there. Who do we have in that line?
So we've got Jasper Gouch and Alex Gunn.
You name those, isn't it?
The Jasper.
He is in the lead as far as I can tell.
Yeah, so Jasper took the first round by 1.5 seconds, and it looks like he's got a pretty similar margin on the second heat as well.
So I think we know who's going through there.
Gaz Wilson against Owen Scott. Owen Scott taking the first round by just under 2 seconds. And again, strong start from Owen. A lot of the riders as well, if they're confident that they're going to be making it through to the later heats, they don't want to be pushing themselves too much and losing too much energy early on. But that's Gaz Wilson actually, who's out front with a strong start. So is he going to be able to make up? No, he's not. He's down. So Gaz Wilson was on his way for making up that 2-second deficit, but has thrown it away just at the top of that final descent.
It's been so disappointing when you lost it and then you feel like you've got the win in sight. And if head-to-head is brutal, there's only one way for it to go. You're in or you're out.
Up next, Tim Pearson and David Camus. David looking strong, double through the rollers. Good sprint into this next section with the grass.
0.8 of a second between them on the first round, so fairly close, and as you can see they are quite evenly matched. Rides it for them.
So that looks like David, he had a bit of a deficit to make up from the first heat, so we'll see whether he's got that one in the bag or not. Rich Beatty and Will Keo next up. Beatty only got this by 0.7 of a second before, so not much in it this time. Beatty on the left of your screen now. He's going to have to make this work. He's got a bit of a lead, but through that section it's deceptive. And he's coming out strong. Oh, and he's nearly ended up in the left-hand lane. To play for. Oh, this is going to be tight. You can just see his arms buckle at the bottom of that drop. That's when people are pushing right to the line. So it was Beatty through as he held on to that lead.
And just to clarify things, if you do go out of the course, you expect to go back to the point where you left the course and join back in from there, correct?
Yeah, you can't go missing a flag, basically. You can come off the course, but you've just got to get around all the flags on the right side of them.
So who have we got on the start line here? It looks like Damien Groves and Mattie Cowell. And they have, Mattie there, quite comfortably ahead.
So from that previous round, Rich Beatty has, oh no, Rich Beatty hasn't made it through. Okay, so we got Mattie Cowell and Damien Groves. Damien Groves, strong start there, jumping into the grass rollers, carrying plenty of speed.
He is looking one of the fastest that I've seen through there. He's really holding it well.
Nicely into the bottom there. So Damien had a little bit to make up from the first heat, but it looks like he's made that up with time to spare, I'd say.
Oh. I don't know. It's 1.5 seconds. And it's coming through at the top of the finish straight. I wouldn't be able to call it. We'll just have the times coming through now, but it looks like the next race is about to get started.
So that was Damien Groves from the previous heat going through. Oh no.
And we're off on the second round of Aiken Collinge and Jack Drogan head to head. Aiken on the right hand side of the screen.
It's hard because they're switching left to right so much. He's looking. And, he's got that one nicely. Aiken knew he had a bit of a lead from the first heat.
Coming into the finish line, I do think there's a benefit for being in the left-hand line. It's just a wider corner and smoother, therefore, coming into this steep grassy bank as you get to the finish line. So if you are head-and-head next to somebody, the left-hand line is the opportunity where you can make it up at the finish line. And we're looking at the next riders for their round 2, and they're just kicking off now. It is William Easy and Dave Griffiths.
William, another strong start for him.
He's got some pedal power in him, doesn't he?
He's got about 1.5 seconds lead from the first heat, so if he's out front already, looking confident. Yeah.
He just needs to hold it smooth, and he knows he's got it.
Nicely done. Just maintained a sensible lead over his competition there all the way to the finish line. Didn't want to push it too hard. And we've got Andrew Devine and Gareth Jones up at the top. Gareth taking the first heat, but only by 0.05, so it was a tight one. Oh no, disaster for Gareth this time. He hasn't got much of a lead, so he's going to have to really make this up big time. But you can see he's charging.
Is really going for it though. If anyone can make a dramatic comeback, I reckon it's him.
He's certainly going for it. I reckon it's going to be something dramatic.
Oh no.
He's just clipped his bars coming into the bottom bit.
It's a little tricky corner. It's a tricky corner from the right-hand line there.
He stalled on the start so badly then, that just kind of end of his race there.
What's he doing? Daydreaming?
So now, on to the women's category.
Here it goes.
We've had the lads, as they refer to them up here, now it's the lasses.
The lasses list is pretty strong, actually. 16 women, which, as you were talking with Nina earlier, it is fewer than the men, but it's a growing sport, and women's mountain biking is growing massively. And actually, I think everyone's pretty stoked to see such a good turnout of women and good, decent, fast women. It's a technical course, can't have anybody on it, and these women are some of the cream of the crop.
Yeah, it's great to see a strong field, and I think I actually picked the right person to speak to earlier, because Nina's gone and qualified fastest. So we didn't know that at the time when we picked her for an interview, but she's done us proud.
She was modest there, but I had a feeling. She's German champion, downhill champion after all. She's got something to say for herself. So she'll have flown into Sheffield to take part in their great outdoors city festivals this weekend. I hope she's enjoying it. By her Instagram feed, it looks like she is. It looks like she's taking in some of the local trails.
Yeah, I saw those video, and I was chatting to her earlier about it. She said they've been up at Warncliffe Woods, a local riding spot. I haven't been there for years, but I remember it was absolutely amazing. Steve Peat's local training ground, and yeah, loads of amazing trails. She said it's very different to what she's used to riding in Germany, and yeah, she's been loving the riding over here.
I think the community here is what makes it what it is. Obviously, they've got amazing terrain and loads of variety here, but oh no, and the racing is off, and she is not waiting about Nina. She is going really fast through the wooden whoops there.
She did stall it a little bit in the whoop. She kind of tried to double and flip the second one a little bit, so slight fallibility, but she is looking really strong out in front. So we got Sarah Collinson behind. I think she's going to have a tough order to pull that one back on Nina, because Nina really showing some class there in that first heat.
Yeah, with Nina the fastest racer here in the qualifying, it's got to be pretty intimidating going head-to-head against her in your first round, but depending on how mean you are, she'll just be hoping for something to go wrong, I suppose, Sarah there.
As we saw earlier, you know, Brett Penfold and Steve Peat both having issues and going out, so just because you're the fastest qualifier doesn't mean you're straight through.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Kelly Jane Emerson coming up with Bev Adipura.
Bev Adipura, as I understand, won the Sheffield City, the Steve Peat's downhill race that he put on. So very fast rider, and obviously a local talent as well. So no stranger to winning. So
I do love that here. You've got so many grassroots events going on. The guys that put this is Sheffield. They put on dual races all through the year. And then Peaty as well has his races that he puts on. It's just so great for building talent locally.
And that talent does indeed then get built, and you see great talent coming out of Sheffield and taking it into the global stage, and that's what happens. And then when you put on these grassroots events, those talented global superstars can race head-to-head against mums, dads, people that are working in the bank or in the accounts during the week, and here they are racing against some of their mountain biking heroes.
Here we go, second round.
We have Kelly Jane in the B line and Bev in the A line, and she is giving it everything.
So Bev was the slower qualifier of these two, but when it comes down to racing, it looks like she's a little bit faster on that first section at least.
I reckon either something went wrong in quali, or she's just one of these riders that has her eye on the prize. Sometimes you need an extra rider next to you, don't you, to really to push you through to the edge of your limits. That was close, but Bev got that one.
Yeah, Bev just taking that, but yeah. I thought she was going to have that by a bigger margin, so she was losing speed towards the bottom of the track there. Up next in the start gate, we've got Karela and Isabella Broome.
And they're off down the stairs, pumping their way through the wooden whoops, and Nia is in the lead, taking it quite comfortably by the looks of it. Yeah. But as we just saw in the other round, different strengths play to different parts of the course. So if you're weaker at the bottom of the course, you've got to watch your back. Looks
like Isabella had a bit of an issue there in the corner, chaos corner, going a bit chaotically for her.
You can see with her body language that she knows. She knows that was Nia's.
But as we said, she'll only have, at worst, 1.5 seconds to make up in the second heat.
Yes, brilliant. And then coming up, Hannah Saville. Oh, they're gone straight into the racing. And Vicky Chapman, there's no hanging about. She has got some style on her. Hannah there racing through, throwing the shapes down.
Yeah, looking comfortable on the jumps there. Nicely jumping into the grass rollers.
But it's not all about style points. It's about keeping it rubber side down and who gets to the finish line fastest.
I think Hannah's got both. She's got the style and the speed going on that one. So Hannah taking the lead in that first heat.
Double win there. And straight through. There really is no hanging about. Oh, it can be demoralising when somebody gets such a faster start than you, isn't it? Well, some people find that really motivating. Anya in the lead there.
I was talking to Anya earlier and she said out of the two lanes she much prefers the blue lane, which she's on currently. So she's obviously going well in this first heat. Can she carry that performance through into the second heat when she'll be on the red lane?
And Sarah, she is well back there, but she's given it a go and she's getting stuck in and getting involved. It's not an easy course at all, and to do it in front of a crowd, that can be very intimidating too, and it's a big crowd here at the Sheffield Outdoors Festival. And Alyssa Podesta, she's come all the way from Wales, and she's absolutely smashing it against Abigail Legge. How do you say that? Legge? Leger.
I'll let you say it.
I'm going to put on a flair and an accent there. We can have Leger. And Alyssa has a good race ahead on there.
Yeah, she's looking confident. You can see that grass starting
into the finish line.
See that grass starting to get slippy on that long left-hander. I think as the night goes on and you get a little bit moisture in the air, it's just going to get slippier and slippier, isn't it?
It's only going to get worse with all the riders going over it as well. Oh, perhaps though, if it starts kicking up the grass a little bit and showing some mud, it might create a bit more grip. We've got Tony Fryer here and Hannah Prestwich going head-to-head in their first round.
Tony put on a good performance last year, so we'll see if she's got it again. But this is looking like a good battle between these two. Evenly matched. Tony trying to get the power down. Oh, this is going to be tight coming into the finish. Tony's got the lead here.
Yeah, and on the wider, smoother corner, she is able to take that through to the finish line. Keep it as a win.
So we'll see how those two, that'll be an interesting coming into the next heat because they were pretty evenly matched. So I think, you know, they could be battling it out for the next round. So now we've got Katie Sunter and Hannah Johnson.
That's what's great about dual racing. It's not even necessarily the fastest riders that are most exciting to watch, is it? If you've got two people who are evenly matched, yeah, that's really where you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, that's why when you can have like the fastest against the slowest, it's an easy victory. But then you get to that midfield, it gets really tight and competitive.
That's where things really heat up. But obviously, it's necessary to keep it in that format for head-to-head knockout competition, so that ideally, the idea is the fastest riders will be the ones getting through to the finals and not getting knocked out too early on. And we're kicking off with Tony Fryer. Yeah. Wait a minute, that can't be right.
We got Katie Sunter and Hannah Johnson here. So that is Hannah on the right hand of your screen now.
Again, another really close race, and they're really giving it. I can't call it. Hannah was saying earlier that she doesn't like racing, and she's stopped. She's stopped recently, but she gets dragged back into this as an honorary Sheffield local. Looks like she's enjoying it to me, and she took the win. So that's a good way to put a smile on your face. And they're just holding the riders up at the top of the start line there, and it's off. Number 1 there with a great start, and she's flying out of the wooden jump and onto the grass and holding it well, and she really managed to rail that little berm. She's got so much control.
Look,
this is Lena, eh?
Yeah, so Nina Hoffman there, really taking that one again, showing her class. Easily through to the next round, into the quarters.
And we're through onto the second round now, with Kelly Jane and Bev Adipura. Bev, who won the Steel City downhill race, so she's only going to want one thing. And it looks like she's going to get it. She's well ahead of Kelly Emerson there.
So we got Bev easily taking the first round. Well, not too easily actually. She was only 0.2 ahead in the first heat. But with that victory in the second heat, she's nicely through into the quarterfinals. So we've got Nia Karela and Isabella Broome here. Nia, nice strong start again.
And the cameras are following Isabella as she goes into the lead there. She's going to want to hold it. She's got her eye on the prize. Obviously those berms were put in the second year. Before that used to be a flat corner, and Sarah choosing not to take them there.
So we've got Nia Karela taking that one again. So she took the first heat, and then it's the second heat for her as well, nicely through. So this will be who she's up against in the quarters. It's Hannah Saville or Vicky Chapman. Strong start from Hannah there.
Yeah, there was not too much between them on the first round, but it's looking like Hannah is really taking the lead there, and she is super confident of this one.
Hannah, the faster qualifier, so you'd expect her to take this first round, and it looks like she's going to do just that. Keeping it nice and smooth to the bottom, maintaining that lead, and she will be through to the quarters where she will see Nia Karela. So up next we've got Anya Tolwinska and Sarah Layden. Anya taking the first one, and it looks like she's set for the second as well.
Yeah, she had a 1.5 second lead on the first one, which is, on a short course like this, it's quite substantial. It should give you an edge of confidence when you're going into the race. You know that you had that lead.
Well, she certainly made that confidence work for her. She's got a massive lead now.
She can just cruise her way through here. I think the idea there was just to make sure that nothing dramatic happened. She stayed on the bike because she was pretty confident she had that one. And Sarah came cruising through to the finish in front of a cheerful crowd. Sure, she's had a great time here, even if she's not going to get through to the next round. It's all a bit of fun, really, at the end of the day.
So Alyssa Podesta here, we can see in the left-hand lane, plate number 9. She rode well the first time. And strong start again. You can see it's not much space to pedal off the start line there, because you're straight into the steps, and you don't want to be pedalling too much down them, because as we saw with Peat, he knock a pedal off or something like that. But Alyssa looking good down here.
Yeah, she's looking really smooth. She's quite new to the racing scene, actually, but very, very dedicated and very committed, and riding for Liv.
Nicely done there. You can see she just did everything right in that race. She was getting the power down where it was safe to, in between the corners, and just concentrating on getting out of the corners and over the obstacles well.
And we're kicking off here again. Who have we got here on this race?
We've got Tony Fryer against Hannah Presswich. So Tony winning the first one, and it looks like she's looking strong into second.
But it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a big win in the first one, and these two are really going to have to be battling it out. I think it's going to be hard to call it, because the blue line can be a little bit faster, and she just clipped the corner there, and she hit the tape a little bit, trying to give it a little bit too much, and didn't manage to take the win. So that went to Tony.
Well, that'll be tight there, because Tony led the first heat, and then the second heat she lost a bit of time, so we'll see
And we've got Hannah Johnson here, who's just ahead. She's a girl that says that she doesn't like racing very much, but then she finished grinning and winning the first round, and she's definitely got something to give here. But that blue line can be a little bit faster, and that's giving Katie Sunter the opportunity to take the lead.
Okay, so that's the women's first round all sorted, so we'll be back over to the men's now. So we now have the second round of the men's competition. There'll be a...
It's not with the names that we were expecting, is it?
No, exactly. So we were expecting to see Brett Penfold fastest qualifier in this round, but Brett taking himself out of the competition, losing a bit of... just getting a bit of a swap on out of the corners. And could see the Globe in doing good business here.
A poor thing, and Steve Peat out as well.
Can we see him in there? He's probably in there somewhere.
With a pint in his hand.
Yeah, I suppose that's the one benefit, is if you're out early, it's more time at the bar, isn't it? But, yeah, I'm sure Petey and Brett Penfold wouldn't be wanting to be in the bar at this stage.
No, they are competitors through and through. At heart, obviously, Petey does an amazing amount for grassroots cycling in this area, but I think most people know that when he gets on the start line, he sees himself as a competitor and he'll want to win, so he will be disappointed with that, no doubt. If there were bookies at this event, I think it would have been just a clean sweep that everyone was expecting to see Brett Penfold and Steve Peat in the finals, and neither of them are even through to the second round.
Yeah, exactly. So shame to see them two going out, but we have Rob Shaw, the giant killer, taking out Brett Penfold up against Duncan Faris. They'll be in this first heat of the second round.
So I think we're just waiting for them to organise the riders at the top there. They're just sorting out the orders of the rounds that have just been and getting the riders into order so that they'll be able to keep the racing going quickly and smoothly. Keeping things going is the order of the day today, though. This dual racing is fast and furious, and it's all about keeping the crowds entertained. Much as the racers obviously do really want to win, this event it's a community event, and it's all about the crowd and the spectators and putting on a spectacle, I think, showcasing what mountain biking is and can be all about.
Yeah, and it's a really cool part of the city here, isn't it? Just, we've got a replay coming up. So this is Steve Peat. This is the incident we saw earlier on.
And we just missed the bit where it actually showed his pedal coming off, so we still don't know fully what happened there. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll be able to get an interview with him and find out his thoughts on it, his take on it. Yeah,
so I think maybe this will be it again. Well, this is where Brett took himself out, so I know this wasn't Brett, this was...
Richard Babert there, one of the local riders, who just lost control of the corner.
Yeah, because that wooden corner does spit you out with a whole load of pace. I rode it twice earlier on, and once I came out way too much speed and oversteered out of it, and the second time I came out with I didn't steer enough and sort of jumped out the top of it, so it kind of yeah, it's hard to judge it and get it perfectly right. But here we go, we've got the riders up on the line. So Duncan Faris on the right of your screen there, and Rob Shaw on the left. So can Rob fight his way through another round? Duncan Faris, a very experienced four-cross racer, races the national circuit and has raced on the World Cup Series for years as well. And look at him making light work of those rollers down there.
He's holding nothing back at all.
Duncan on fire. I'd say he's one of my picks for this evening, actually. He's an incredible rider, knows how to keep riding well under pressure, and there he just took a really comfortable lead, but was looking like fast pace as well. He didn't seem to be missing anything any of the way down. Up next we got James Farrer and Nez Parker. James Farrar getting some strong pedal strokes in there. Oh, hitting that corner hard.
You can really see the people that have their cornering techniques down. Some people have it in the pedalling, some people have it in the tech.
I will apologise there. It's not James Farrar, it's James Hughes. We've actually skipped around there, so that was James Hughes. And yeah, James hitting that corner hard, an experienced downhill racer. So James Hughes taking that round there.
So we're just kicking off now with the first round of the second round, if you know what I mean.
First heat of the second round. Okay, so we're back to James Farrar versus Nez Parker here. So that is James Farrar in the white top, I believe, sliding out on that corner. That is going to get more and more slippy. Riders that have ridden it already in one of the rounds, thinking it'll be the same sort of amount of grip, and then finding out that grip is not there as the night goes on.
Exactly, they had plenty of race practice earlier, doing track walks and everything, but it's changing conditions all the time, and changing light as well.
So this is William Swindon and Alistair Barron. William looked like he had a good start there, but then
Alistair looked more confident as he came into that first technical corner, into the grassy area.
Foot out there for the slide on the grass. So there we go, that's William Swindon taking that first heat. Alistair Barron not far behind, so he could make that up as we go into the second heat of that round.
As we saw, he had the lead even for a little bit during that race, so anything really can happen. It does change.
So we've got Jasper Jouch on the right and Owen Scott. Jasper making a strong start. We saw that from him in the first round. Oh, he's got a massive lead here already. Looking really confident.
Well, we haven't seen on the cameras, almost don't know whether something's happened or whether he's just so much faster and he's able to take that lead so much more easily.
Owen Jones just cruising down. I think he probably slid out further up and then knew that he's only going to have that 1.5 second deficit, so we'll just stick with it, roll it in nice and safe. So up next we've got Tim Pearson and Will Keo.
Another close race.
You can see Will's making light work of them grass rollers, coming into the chaos corner with a lot of speed. You can see the amount of speed he came out of there with. He was back wheel was drifting around, all his wheels are drifting around.
Cruising smoothly into the final corner. I think Tim took that.
Yeah, you can see there Will was up in the lead, but just carrying too much speed for that long grass corner. And yeah, drifting does look cool, but it's not the fastest.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And off we go with, who have we got here? We've got Mattie Kebble and Aiken Collinge.
Aiken looking strong. Oh, power wheeling out of that corner. You can see almost a little bit too enthusiastic. He was slightly offline, but he's managed to control it into the finish line.
Managed to hold it there.
Aiken taking that, but only just, so that one's going to be getting tight for the second heat as well. Up now in the gate we got William Easy and Andrew Devine.
Oh, he's almost bashing into the railings there as he's coming down the stairs.
So William Easy in the orange top there, making light work of the rollers. You can see how hard riders are hitting that tight inside corner there on the chaos corner.
And when they've got something to play for, they really do want to put all the pedal turns in that they can, but then they're coming into slippery corners that are getting slipperier and slipperier. Is that a word? As the night goes on.
Yeah, and you can see Andrew Devine there on the outside of that big left-hand corner, just sliding around it. So we've seen a few riders now sliding around that grass corner, and it's just going to be getting slipperier, as you say, going on through the night.
We can see if we can get that word entered into the Oxford English Dictionary before the end of the Howard Street Duel. What do you say? Well, it's exciting racing here today. Some of it is so close, and sometimes even when it's not close, something crazy happens and it all goes wrong.
So up now we have got the second heat of the second round for Rob Shaw and Duncan Faris. So Rob, quite a bit, but here we go, we've got a replay now.
So Duncan was the fastest rider in the first round, but the different sides do play to different strengths, and one side is faster than the other in general, so that doesn't mean anything.
So those graphics are actually the other way around. That's Duncan on the left of your screen there, and Rob Shaw, he's already taken out Brett Penfold. Can he take out another favourite rider, Duncan? Duncan looking good, gapping there into the corner. Looking really strong, Duncan. He's just on fire this evening. Nice and safely into the bottom there. Duncan Faris moves on through into the quarter-finals.
James Farrer and Nez Parker lining up at the top of the course there, getting ready to go straight into the steps, which starts off the course. And here we go. It's a fast start. It's fast and it's close. Holding it into the first corner. There's a little bit of a foot dab by Farrer there.
James Farrer looking strong there in the white shirt, coming around the outside, but you can see he's struggling to keep hold of it. Clips a pole coming into the bottom. That could have gone horribly wrong for him. He had a 0.7 advantage from the first heat, so it's going to be a tight call to see whether he's lost that 0.7 in the second heat there. Oh, and he's just inside. So James Farrer will be advancing.
We've got the race getting going now with James Hughes and Jordan Baton. We don't want to miss that. They're head and head. Oh, and he's just slid out. As we said, it's getting slipperier, and he was pushing too hard and wasn't able to maintain his control there.
Yeah, James Hughes looked strong in the first heat, and he's obviously just put the pressure on Jordan, trying to make up the ground and the time there in the second heat, but Jordan wasn't quite able to hang on to that speed through that big long left-hand corner. So James Hughes will be moving into the quarters as we got William Swindon and Alistair Barron here. Looking tight together here.
You can see the light is starting to drop now, and I wonder if that affects things as they're coming down here so fast. They really have to be picking. Oh! Clipping the tape.
Both of them nearly going off.
Taking the course with them.
So that's a tight one there. They were only 1/10 apart from the first heat, and coming across the line so closely on that second heat. Hard to call that one.
I'm looking forward to seeing those results come through. They'll be coming through in just a few seconds' time, but they're not hanging around. They're getting all the racing going back to back as quickly as possible and keeping things moving forward and exciting.
So up next we've got Jasper Jouch and Owen Scott. Jasper taking the first heat comfortably, so Owen Scott has just got that 1.5 second deficit, which is the maximum deficit you can have after the first heat to make up. Jasper has looked confident all evening. We see him here on the left of your screen.
Yeah, he's got a super fast time from his first round there in the second heat. 21 seconds, 0.73, so he's definitely a contender today, full stop.
Yeah, that's one of the quickest times we've seen.
Indeed it is. Owen didn't do quite so quickly, 26 seconds more or less coming down, but well, we'll just have to wait and see. They're doing a bit of a track standing competition at the top there. It's not gate starts, so they have to get started themselves. I guess some riders are preferring the track stand, some riders are preferring to have their foot on the floor and then pushing themselves off.
So just having a quick scan back over the times. Jasper's 21.73, as far as I can see, is the second fastest time we've seen on the course this evening. The honour for first fastest goes to Duncan Faris so far, but we're looking to see those times come down. Jasper, again, a great start. Looks like Owen has got a lot of work to do to keep up with Jasper. But is Jasper going to predict how this course is changing over the evening? Oh, and you can see nearly getting caught out. That front wheel nearly tucking on him as he went into the right-hander after the wooden section.
Honestly, you can just see the edge that the riders are on now, and I've got a sense that we might see some quite surprising things as we go on throughout the evening. Like I say, riders have become comfortable with what they think the course is like, but the course is changing all the time, so the riders need to adapt with it.
So that's Jasper through into the next round. Up here we've got Tim Pearson and Will Keo.
Keo! And off they go. I couldn't call it right now. Tim and Will are both obviously pretty equal in the competition here.
That section there, if they come out of that corner fairly together, you can normally tell, but he's struggling to hold on to the speed around that corner. Tim Pearson took the first heat, but he's going to be back on that second one. He only had a 0.2 advantage from the first heat, so I think he's probably lost that one. Mattie Cowell and Aiken Collins. I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I actually know him.
Potato. Yeah, I think on that last round, I think it's going to be Will. And yes, it was, but let's move into the racing that we're seeing right now on your screen. We've got Aiken and Mattie.
Look at the speed Aiken's carrying, jumping nicely into that wooden section. Oh, he's flying.
Showing off for the crowd. Some people love it. And he's obviously getting really into it.
But he's a little bit back.
It wasn't enough.
Took the first heat by 0.4. That's gonna be a tight one, that. But we're back up to the top, and it's William Easy and Andrew Devine. The thing with this dual racing is it just moves so quickly, it's hard to keep up with the rounds. So here we go, William Easy making a nice strong start there. Andrew a little bit behind.
We just have the wrong names on the screen there, but Richard's got it all under control, so listen to him.
There we go, William Easy leading this one out. He took the first heat and he's going to take the second. Oh my, that is a big crash. Andrew Devine,
but that's the
big crash at the finish.
That's the first pretty hefty crash we've seen on the course today. It's a technical and difficult course, but generally the crashes we see are slides.
But he's up. Good to see him get up and about. That is a big impact to be taken down there, because that's it's a good sort of 10 or 12 foot bank there at the finish, and if you lose it at the top, sliding in, dropping all that way. We can hear the crowd applauding. He's up on his feet. So here we go, we'll see what happens.
Oh, straight onto the concrete. If there's one place on the course you don't want to crash, that's where I'd pick.
Yeah, so you can see there his body weight was going over the top of the bank as he was coming over, so it just sort of the momentum as he came over, he wasn't able to lean into the corner enough, lean right into the corner, so as he went over the drop and the bike was no longer in contact with the ground, his body weight just carried him towards that lamppost, and not really anywhere he could go, so avoided the lamppost, just kind of has to take that hit to not hit the lamppost really, but yeah.
But
horrible crash, but good to see him get up.
Yeah, good to see him get up. He might not have been knocked out literally, but metaphorically he is knocked out. He's not in the racing anymore.
Build them tough up here in Sheffield, don't they?
So William Easy found that easy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I even said that. It's too obvious.
I can't, yeah. So now we're on to the women's race, so getting them back up there.
The lasses, as they call it up in Sheffield. I do like that. It's got a ring to it.
So this is going to be the quarterfinals.
So just have 4 women in total going through the... struggling with my maths there. That's what I delegated this job to Richard at the beginning. I said anything to do with numbers is yours.
So we're going to have 4 rounds, hence the quarterfinals, and in each of those rounds we're going to have 2 riders. So a total of 8 riders going down the hill now. But we've got Nina Hoffman, fastest qualifier, and against Bev Adipura.
I think this is going to be a really close race actually, because we've seen Bev come into her own as the racing's gone on, and she did win the Steel City downhill race previously, so she's no stranger to winning. But likewise Nina, downhill champion of Germany. No small feat either.
Catch up on some of the action from the previous rounds here. See how tight it gets when riders come out of there. If one goes a little bit too far to the right and the other too far to the left, they're nearly touching. And again that crash of Andrew Devine. Going down hard.
the crowd's still sticking around, which is good to see. And it's getting a little bit chilly out here, but it's not dampening the spirits in any way, shape or form. So you're watching the Howard Street Duel. It's here in Sheffield, all part of their festival of being outdoors. They're claiming themselves as the outdoor city, and they're proving themselves as the outdoor city. But we're all cycling fans here, and this is our favourite thing to watch. There's hill climbing going on tomorrow, and today we're watching the dual slalom downhill. We're getting going into the quarterfinals of the women's racing, or the lasses races, and hopefully they'll be playing that. They'll be getting going, getting racing anytime soon, but they're getting their orders pretty sorted. It's really good. It's really well organised here, actually. So a little bit of time between rounds as they just get their riders into their starting order, and then once you're going, if you've been watching this from the beginning, you'll see that they just get the racing going, boom, 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 back to back.
So if you have a look at the times from the first round for the women's, Nina Hoffman really looking like the strongest. Her fastest time was a 23.38 in the first heat. In the second heat she was on a 24.02, so fairly consistent there, but her competitor up in this quarter-final round is going to be Bev Adipura, and her times quite a bit slower, 27.65 and 26.9. So
it's funny because she looks really fast as she's coming through. Sometimes what you see on the screen or with your eyes as you're watching isn't actually what translates into the numbers at the end.
Yeah, so we see, I think Nina's going to be the favourite for that. She's definitely laid down the fastest times of that opening round for the women's. No one else really actually getting under 25, so yep, she's definitely looking like she's got it in the bag, but as we've seen before, plenty that can happen. Your pedal can fall off, as we've seen Steve Peat.
I lost my pedal!
Brett Penfold, he's sliding out.
Yeah, we've seen a few unexpected results, some crashes, some slide outs, hitting the tape, going round flags.
And it's nice today, actually. Last year, if anyone was watching last year, got a little bit of rain here, so it was making some of these corners a bit slippy, but I think this it's been dry all day, and it's really making for some good racing tonight. Riders able to push it a little bit more.
And it makes for the atmosphere as well, doesn't it, when the crowd can stick it out and they're enjoying it too. I think that definitely translates to the riders as well. So
yeah, it's not bad between the rounds. People just pop in the pub there, come back out and watch the next round.
Watch a bit of bike racing with a pint, can't go wrong. So have you ever done any dual racing yourself?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I've done a little bit. Nothing too mate. I can't actually remember where I've done it. I remember, yeah, I've done a few. It's always a good fun event actually, because you've got that head-to-head racing, but you're in individual lanes, so you are pushing each other faster. But I do like it, and I do like four-cross racing as well. I did race four-cross for quite a while and loved that as a discipline. It's a shame we don't see more of this out there. I mean, it's great to see this.
And here in Sheffield as well, there's just so much going on all the time. I've been to Sheffield myself with a bike before, and they have converted a dry ski slope into a downhill track as well. I think Steve Peat had something to do with that. So they've got the dry snow ski slope here near Sheffield, and you can go up it on a little drag lift. But bikers are welcome too, and they have a downhill track just to the side of it. So Sheffield really is the outdoors city. So thank you for joining us and watching the Howard Street Duel. To the crowd that are here face to face and also online. Okay, and we're still here just waiting for the lasses races. They're getting it into order, but we've managed to bag an interview with Richard.
So here I am, I'm with Andrew Devine down at the bottom. Man, that was one hell of an impact you just took. How are you feeling?
Yeah, a little bit dazed. Actually hit my head pretty hard down there. So, but yeah, shame I didn't go through. But just trying too hard to make up the time on that second run. So.
Yeah, look, I could see all the tears down your arm there, man. That was you took a hard hit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think I've lost the air in my tyre, so maybe that went before. I'm not sure, but. Oh well, these things happen. So.
Yeah, I could see just you were coming over. It just looked like your weight was leaning too far to the left, and it just carried that momentum, just carried you down.
Yeah, I tried to just pre-jump it, and went wrong.
And the racing here tonight, sad to see you out of it, but how have you been enjoying it?
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, what a great city to put on this kind of event in the city centre. There's not many places that would do that, so good advertisement for Sheffield, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, man. And you've been up there mixing it up with the riders. Any favourites for this evening?
Well, it's difficult to know because Peat's gone out and Brett Penfold's gone out as well, so it's anyone's. I think Will Swindon looks pretty fast, so but I think it's an open race today. So.
Brilliant. Well, we'll get back to the action, and hope you heal up well, man.
So that was Richard interviewing the guy who took the biggest crash we have seen. But now we're going straight into the women's racing. The lasses have got started. Nina Hoffman, downhill German champion, and Bev, who is from Sheffield, and she's looking really quick on the course, but the times just aren't adding up. Nina clipped the flag there, but she is so comfortably in the lead. She really didn't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, we can see Nina Hoffman looking really strong there again. Definitely the favourite going through this evening. Bev Apidura giving Kelly Emerson a battle earlier on, but not the battle for Nina. Here we are, we're now into the second of the quarterfinals. This is Nia Karela and Hannah Saville.
You can see it's getting quite dark in the course there, and that's also going to be affecting the terrain as there's more moisture hitting the grass, and it's really hard to keep the bike in control there.
So this is Hannah taking the lead there, looking strong. You could see she was strong in the first section, then lost a little bit lost a bit of speed on the tight chaos corner. That the riders left as they're coming down is really quite tight and hard to hold the speed through there. So now we're on to the third of the quarterfinals. Anya Tolwinska and Alyssa Podesta.
So Alyssa, fairly new to racing, but showing that she has got aptitude for it indeed. But I don't know if she's going to have enough right here, right now against Anya.
Yeah, Anya looking really strong and really in control. Smoothly down into the final section.
But there wasn't so much in it. Who's to say that when they swap the lanes around next round, Alyssa won't be able to take it. There was not so much in it, and they're going straight into the next racing. We've got Tony Fryer and Katie Sunter.
They already look well matched, these two. So yeah, Tony Fryer looking like she had a little bit of lead, but Katie coming back strong.
She's not necessarily holding on to it there. Katie had a really good way through the berm corners.
This is going to be tight, I think. Tony looking strong. And Katie just losing a little bit of distance, coming around that long left there, so she dropped back a little bit.
It's definitely better to be in the blue lane as you're coming towards the finish line if you are close and close in the racing, because that blue line's got a faster, smoother and more open turn before dropping into the steep grassy bank.
Yeah, so good to have a catch up with Andrew Devine there. He was, yeah, tough guy, man. He was like,
he's like, yeah, hit my head a bit, but disappointed, got knocked out.
Yeah. So we can see
a replay there.
Replay of the women's quarterfinals. So that's, we've had the first heat of the women's quarterfinals. I think, who would you be putting your money on? I'm putting my money on Nina Hoffman, and I think she's probably going to be meeting Tony Fryer. So they're coming from, they can meet in the finals.
Yeah, but there's not too much between Tony and Anya by the looks of it either. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. But I'm with you on that one. Nina I'd be very surprised indeed if she's not going home with that first place today.
Yeah, she's looking comfortable out on track there.
And she was so modest in her interview earlier, saying that she's never really done much dual before and she's not really sure if it's for her, but new career perhaps.
I think it is for her, yeah. Yeah, and as she was saying that she's been out enjoying the riding around the local area, I mean, that is really what this festival's all about, Sheffield's Outdoor Festival, and it's all about saying how much the city has to offer in terms of getting out of the city into the outdoors. There's so much surrounding here, and then even close into the city there's loads going on as well. So if you're up for your mountain biking, rock climbing, all these sort of things, there's loads going on. And here we are back up to the top. They're getting the riders back up there quick. So this is the second heat between Nina Hoffman and Bev Apipura.
And they're kicking it off straight away, and Nina is pretty much laughing as she jumps her way through the wooden whoops.
Looking strong there. She is looking like really in control of this one. Oh, imagine to get some pedal strokes in out of the corner. She doesn't want to just win this, she wants to win it by a mile, and she certainly has. She has made easy work of that one.
She did, and her time there would put her in a decent place in the men's field actually, so she's really got something to show there. Bev, unfortunately, good rider, looks good on the bike, but she was not fast enough.
Yeah, hard when you come up to keep your willpower up when you come up against a rider of that strength. And here we go, we've got Hannah Saville and Nia Karela.
We've got the crowds messing around as well. Everyone's having a good time.
And evenly matched again. These two hard fought in the first heat. Who's going to get this in the second? Hannah Saville took it the first time.
And it looks like Nia had it there.
So there was about 1.3 seconds in it the first time. So is she going to be able to make that up? So going through to the next round from that, just so waiting for the results to come up. But we're already on to the next quarter. This is Anya Tolwinska against Elisa Podesta. Again.
Oh, Alyssa looks like she's slightly in the lead this time. She lost the last round against Anya, but oh no! And just as she was pushing it a little bit too hard, she has slipped out on the long left grassy corner and given it away. What a shame.
So we're going to see Anya going into the next round there. Just as you were saying how strong she was going.
Commentator's curse, as you said, have picked that one up. Contagious by the sound of it.
Tony Fryer against Katie Sunter. So we saw Tony getting it in the first round by just under a second actually, so it's going to be tight this. As we were saying, some riders favouring one lane to the other, so it can make a big difference for them which lane they're in.
You can just see Alyssa, she's sort of limping her way down towards the start line. It looked like a fairly innocuous crash, to be honest, just sliding out, but she might have taken a bit of a bash. Spiking for you sometimes.
So we're just waiting for the next heat here. There we go. So we've got Tony Fryer against Katie Sunter here. Tony taking it the first time and looking strong here once again. You can see the riders that are just in control coming down this track. It's hard to move from one obstacle to the next because they come up so quickly on you.
You really can, but she gave it a great go in the berms then.
She's lost a little bit of pace towards the bottom. Tony Fryer, oh, is she going to be able to hold on to that? She had 0.8 of a second from the first heat, and that is going to be tight going into the second heat there.
That was an unexpected turn of events there. She really did go in with a clear lead, and then she just seemed to lose it, but in no obvious way did she just suddenly lose control. Looks like she was just slowly but surely caught up and overtaken.
So we are now back into the lads. So this is the first of the lads quarterfinals. Duncan Faris versus James Farrow. See Duncan with his customary arm swinging at the top, getting them shoulders in shape.
It's all about the pre-race stretching, the pre-race ritual. Sometimes I wonder if it's as much psychological as it is physical.
Yeah, it's good just to get your head in that zone if you've got a little thing that you do every time. I used to pull my socks up with my thing, just that little thing to concentrate my mind.
I think that's a skill that you should learn a little bit more in life, Richard.
Pulling my socks up?
Yeah.
They're always up. Got me garters. So Duncan Faris, certainly one of the favourites tonight, looking at the times coming through. He just laid down in the second round at 21.32, so definitely one of the quickest times of the evening. Actually, in fact, looking at it, the quickest time of the evening. So 21.32 by Duncan Faris is the quickest time down this track we have seen. So is he going to be able to carry that through? It certainly looks like he's going to here. He is absolutely on fire once again. Getting round that inside corner quick.
Yeah, James certainly has some style, but it's not translating into speed for him today by the looks of it.
James Farrell getting raggedy down towards the bottom, pushing as hard as he could, trying to keep the deficit as low as possible so he has a fighting chance for the next heat. But that one definitely goes to Duncan Faris.
Exactly, every millisecond counts because you do get 2 rounds. And we're off now with James Hughes and William Swindon.
Graphic there, just the wrong way around, so that is James Hughes in the dark shirt on the orange bike. Looking really strong, pumping around that corner quick and getting some powerful pedal strokes in. This is getting tight, exciting racing now, but James looking so strong all the way to the finish, but just losing a little bit, so I think there'll be a slight deficit there that he needs to make up going into the next heat. So we're into our third of the quarterfinals. This is Jasper Jouch versus Will Keo. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if that graphic on screen is correct.
But it is head and head, so it's going to be really hard to call this one. And he just clips the tape coming through to the
So I
finish.
think that was Jasper Jouch.
Okay, going straight into the next racing with Mattie Kebble and William Easy. You can see the way that the riders who jump through the wooden whoop section really do get off to a better start. And if they can hold it, well, it looks like William has managed to.
Yeah, William Easy's been looking good all the way through this evening, and he's taken that one nicely. Nice lead after that first heat. So this is another thing with this with dual slalom, is the riders have just done that heat and they've got to get straight back up to the top, back for the second heat of the quarterfinals.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Relentless. And at times brutal, with some of the crashes going on.
No time to hang around here at all.
It's getting darker and darker here as well, isn't it? So they want to be rushing to get up to the top as quickly as they possibly can, because they're running out of daylight a little bit and using some artificial lighting to pick out some of the features on the course.
Yeah, you can see the street lights coming on, all the buses lit up in the background.
Adds to the atmosphere in a way.
Everyone's going to be making their way in for a Saturday night out, aren't they? What are we at? 6:30 local time here, so
in a student city as well, so I think this is a big party place. I'm sure some of the riders who have come in specially for this event are going to be hitting the party scene perhaps later on.
And all the students have a great excuse. They can't get in the university for the evening study. It's all blocked off by a mountain bike race.
Oh, so they'll have to go to the pub then, won't they?
Yeah. I doubt many of them will have been making their way in for an evening of study on a Saturday night, but you never know.
Hopefully those who have made it have been enjoying this Howard Street Duel as much as everybody else, so it is exciting. And it's a totally unique type of bike racing as well. It's very rare to get the opportunity to watch such head-to-head racing in front of a crowd. It's an opportunity for the spectators and for the riders to experience something like this.
And you can see sensibly they've put that barrier a little bit back from the track there on that long left-hander, expecting someone to slide out on it. And there we see James Hughes powering out of that corner, on fire, but still just not quite enough to take that heat, although it was really close. So we're back up to the start. so this will be the second heat. We can always tell who's at the start because this will be Duncan Faris warming up them shoulders. So we should be back up to start with Duncan Faris on the left of your screen and James Farrer on the right. Duncan Faris, absolutely one of the favourites. That last heat, he put in a 21.6, so he's keeping consistent speed through the evening. Again, looking perfect through those rollers. Not jumping into the grass there, just skimming nicely, but jumping into the wooden bank there.
Oh, but
nearly coming together. James nicking his line there almost. Oh, James sliding out.
Dab is there.
Oh.
But it looked like it was enough to take back the lead.
Well, that is going to be tight. Duncan Faris had a 0.9 of a second lead after the first heat, and I think he's probably just about kept that. So I'll be putting my money on Duncan going through to the semis. But that is tight. James Farrer really pushed him hard there. So back up to the top, we've got James Hughes and William Swindon. James Hughes has got 0.2 of a second to make up. So this will be tight. James with a strong start there, pumping down the steps.
And he's in the faster line. So I think there's more of an opportunity for him to be able to take the lead and hold it and maintain it.
Oh.
But when you see lines like that, you're never sure.
Oh, and William pushing hard. I thought he was going to fly out the top of Cowell's corner. Oh, and he's taking the pole out instead. He's certainly pushing hard. I thought he'd lost that on the wooden corner, but he nearly lost it on the bottom. So that is James Hughes. I think he will have made up that slight deficit he was under to make it through to the semis. And actually looking at it, yeah.
Duncan Faris is through there to the semi-finals.
So I think we're going to see Duncan Faris against James Hughes in that semi-final. Back up to the top for the second heat of this third quarter-final. We have Jasper Jouch and Will Keo. Jasper taking it with a time of 21.6 in the first heat.
Just have to wait a few moments for the marshals to repair the course there as it got destroyed. Coming up to the finish line just then, so you would have to wait a few moments for that to get put back together before they set the racing off again.
Yeah, William Swindon nearly taking out a number of parts of the track then. So we can see just out from our commentary box here, one of the marshals redoing the tape here down at the bottom. Look how dark it's getting. I can't even read their number boards now.
It really is dark. It's pretty much night racing now. They're on the limit here. And that's just it's another feature and another change to the course that it was completely different when they were practicing the course maybe 3 hours ago. It was drier, warmer, and it was daylight. So you really do have to be adaptable.
Okay, so we're ready to go for the second heat in the quarterfinals. This is Jasper Jouch, Will Keo.
I reckon I'd be putting Hope Light on the front of my bike to do this race.
So we can see Jasper with a good start, jumping into the grass rollers there, pumping hard through. Oh, they're nearly coming together. The riders are just getting tighter and tighter coming out of that wooden corner. Oh, is Jasper going to be able to hold on to this? Oh, we're nearly seeing another crash coming down at the bottom.
It's in the same places. We're seeing the same mistakes and the same lines now.
I think Jasper could just feel that lead slipping away from him, that advantage from the first heat nearly going. He was just gripping on by his fingernails there. I think he's just about held on to that. Up next we got Mattie Cowell and William Easy. So yeah, so Jasper Jouch, I can confirm, has just about held on to that. Oh, by 0.2 of a second. So he'll be going on into the semi-finals. Now we'll find out who will be meeting him in that second of the semi-finals. Mattie Cowell or William Easy. At the moment, William Easy has the advantage of 1.5 seconds after Mattie Cowell has that maximum deficit of 1.5. I hope they can see more of themselves than I can.
It looks like they're literally going into a black hole there, abyss, but they seem to be in control, getting going with the racing, and William Easy taking the lead.
Oh, but he nearly messed up the entry to that wooden corner.
He really did. I thought he was going down there, and he's making mistakes all over the place, but it was enough.
That front wheel nearly tucked on him going into that. I was worried then, because at that pace going into that wooden left-hand corner, you really don't want your front wheel tucking. I think he just slipped. There's some rubber matting on the floor there, and I think it can be a little bit slippy on that rubber matting, so just lost a little bit of traction, but he held onto it, and he held onto it on that final drop into the bottom. So William Easy moving on into the semi-finals. So now we are back to the women's racing, the lasses. Up the top, this is the first of the semi-finals. We have Nina Hoffman, our absolute favourite, been going through every round cleanly and smoothly. Won the qualifying, has the fastest time so far down the track, up against Hannah Saville.
I think we're both prepared to call it for Nina. This race is so probable.
Oh, don't go cursing her. Don't go cursing her.
Maybe that's why I did it. Maybe I was being mean there.
Oh, you're trying to bring a bit of tighten up the racing with a bit of a curse on it. But Nina has looked confident. She hasn't looked like she's made any mistakes the whole evening. She's just been like getting through it, getting the job done nice and smoothly with good style as well.
Yeah, and like I say, her times would put her up there in the men's racing as well. So, and she's looking so controlled, and it's really nice to see that she's making the most of the area as well. She's been riding around Sheffield and getting to know the tracks. She said it's a pretty special place. She's opting for a track stand start there, but not everybody chooses the same techniques to get started. And they're off, and Nina just threw herself down the stairs and into the lead. Hannah is looking pretty fast actually, but it's just not enough. Around the corners, into the grass, Nina is so controlled.
Great technique, just making the bike work for her around that grassy corner, getting as much grip as possible. Nicely done down to the bottom. Nina really in a league of her own this evening. And here we go, we're on to the second of the semi-finals. So this is Anja Tolwinska against Tony Fryer. I think this is going to be quite a tight battle.
I don't know.
I think
less said about that, the better by the looks of it. Looks like Tony is pretty confident.
So Tony Fryer just a little bit behind, but she has got the shorter line round this corner. Can she make up the time? This is going to be really tight to the finish. Tony Fryer just making it up and taking that first heat of the semi-finals. So Tony looking good there, you know. Both of them really strong riders there,
yeah.
Evenly matched. So I think the second heat in that semi-final is going to be another hard-fought battle. So which one of them is going to get the showdown with Nina Hoffman? I'm calling that Nina's going to be in the final. I think she's
she deserves to.
Pretty solid. So
that's where her place should be.
It's going to be down to Anja Tolwinska and Tony Fryer to battle it out to see if they can meet her there.
So just a brief pause in the racing at the moment whilst they're getting things into order and lined up. I am impressed with the efficiency and the organisation. Things are not being done by halves at all here at the Howard Street Duel. They just take a few minutes between the rounds to get things into order, and then it's very slick indeed, keeping the crowd entertained for as long as possible. And the crowd is full of pretty much everyone. We've got kids and families, we've got students, we've got riders. Really is bringing everybody in Sheffield out to watch a little bit of mountain bike racing.
There we go, we've got a replay there of Anja Tolwinska and Tony Fryer looking neck and neck coming over that finish line. That'll be all to fight for in the next heat. So Anna, are we going to see you competing at a dual slalom race anytime?
Well, it does
Tempted
draw
by
me
this?
in. It does draw me in, I must say. It's a very attractive idea. It looks a lot of fun. You know, a little bit sketchy. But yeah, I would love to give it a go, actually.
I think for me, one of the things I love about it is that it makes mountain biking accessible, because it's just that simple thing. It's almost like jumpers for goalposts. You just lay down a few jumpers and ride between them, can't you? You know, it's like really nice, accessible way to compete at the sport. If you just got a few trees or something like that, just mark out a slalom track and you can be down it.
Yeah, that is really true. That is true. It's just a bit of fun, really. But for Nina and Hannah, it is competition. They are wanting to win, and we've been talking about Nina all afternoon and her control and her speed, and she's demonstrating it through the berms there. Oh, but yeah, obviously touching the flag a little bit.
Yeah, an unlikely mistake from Nina Hoffman there, just getting a bit carried away. She doesn't lay off the speed when she knows she's got it in the bag. She's still going for it, and you could see she just came out of that corner a little bit too hot, nearly high-sided herself into the barriers, but just about held on to it. So we can see she's had an easy margins, but she still pushes hard.
Keep it rubber side down.
So here we go, Anya Tolwinska and Tony Fryer. Oh, it looks like Tony's going well. It looks like Anya's just dropping back a little bit.
Yeah, it was close in the last round, and the blue lane, it does tend to be a little bit quicker most of the time. So it's giving Tony the advantage. Oh! And a slide there, and it hit the tape, but she managed to hold it. Pleased to say that was not a rider down. But
well, it might be the timing poles down if she's crashed into the finish line.
So I said earlier that I saw Alyssa Podesta limping down a little bit towards the finish line, as she'd done an amazing race. She was not the favourite, she was the underdog in the race, but she had managed to pull ahead and get a little bit of a lead, and then she had a very disappointing crash. So it looks like we've got her lined up for an interview very, very shortly.
I think we're going to go. So coming up, this is going to be a great battle. I'm saying this is going to be one of the battles of the evening. Duncan Faris and James Hughes, both riders have been riding incredibly all evening. Fast times between them. Duncan Faris just about pips it on overall speed, but James Hughes is a massive competitor. He won't want to be beaten by Duncan here, so he will be pushing hard.
So are you calling it?
Well, that's the thing. I'd say Duncan's got the overall speed, but James is just not going to give up. I don't think he's going to push hard, and if that means it increases his speed that little bit, then he'll be giving Duncan a run for his money. But Duncan has looked smooth and in control. I haven't really seen any mistakes from him all evening, so going on that is
you just completely avoided giving an answer there. You can't call it. You can't call it. You think it's just too close.
Oh, I definitely can't call this one.
So we're just going to have to watch it play out and see what happens. And as you can see, if you're watching along at home, the conditions are changing all the time. It is pretty much night time now. It's pretty dark on the course there, and that's definitely going to be changing things as well.
So seasoned competitors here in the start gate,
eating carrots. They should be. That's what I would be doing if I was up there right now.
So here we go, nerves building between these two. Come on, I want to see this showdown.
Building the tension.
I'd say whoever gets through this semi-final is going to be the favourite for the final.
Right. So like I said, we had Alyssa lined up ready for a chat, and so we're going to send Richard over to speak to her right now. Going to talk to her. She's come up all the way from Wales. So Be nice to see what she thinks about Sheffield and what she thinks about the racing, and indeed what we all want to hear about, the crash. And we're going into the race with Duncan Faris and James Hughes. More important to look at this racing as they've got the show on the road, and that is what we are all here for. And right now, I couldn't call it.
Yeah, that's James Hughes taking that one. So Duncan Faris, get that run for his money, as I was saying. So yeah, James Hughes, as I said, the ultimate competitor, rising to the occasion there. You can see Duncan Faris has been smooth all evening, and here we go, we're into the other semi-final. This is William Easy on the right hand in the orange top against Will Keo. Oh, and these guys are really upping the pace here, pushing each other hard. Incredible racing here. Look how fast these two are going. They've saved something for these semi-finals. Oh, William Easy coming in on the front wheel into that final drop. I was concerned he was going to clip that lamppost with his left hand there, but just about holding it inside there.
Thank goodness, because as we have seen, that is not a nice place to crash. So we're just waiting for the next races now. So we're just watching back some of the replays, the highlights of the racing. I'll tell you what, this is one of the best spectator sports that I've seen in cycling. I like the head-to-head battle. To me, like, downhill racing is very exciting, but somehow that time trial element, I don't know, it's all about you and the course, whereas this is about you and your competitor, and that's just a little bit more equal.
Yeah, there's some mind games going on, isn't there,
yeah,
with the other riders. Yeah, in downhill you have that mind game, don't you, of it's you against the clock, and it's kind of you battling your own demons, really, whereas here you've got someone else coming in to mix it up for you and
way
make
more
it even
fun
harder.
to battle their demons instead, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And yeah, you can see, like, as I was saying, Duncan Faris the whole way through the evening was just looking really strong, really in control, and then you get up against someone like James Hughes, who we just know is not going to back down, and he just puts that pressure on Duncan. And then you can see Duncan kind of like cracked a little bit.
Yeah,
he lost.
Succumbed to it.
Yeah, he didn't. We haven't seen a mistake from him all night, and I could just see that final little roll into the finish line. He just got a bit raggedy, clipping the tape, and he'll be kicking himself after that because he knew he had it in the bag, knew he was a strong rider. And here we go. We can see that last of the semi-finals. Oh, William Easy losing it on that corner and just coming in so over the front into that final drop. That got me really concerned.
In the race. But it is exciting, and with the fact that it only happens once a year, it's not like you can just say, oh well, only we've got it this time next week. It's a whole year to wait, and you've done it in front of a crowd, and you're kicking yourself when you've made those little mistakes. Managed to hold the crowd still. Oh, we've got somebody getting very excited about seeing the TV cameras. There's cameras all over the place. This event has been properly promoted and supported, and just want to say hi and welcome to everybody who's watching at home. I really hope that you are enjoying it. It's one thing seeing it here in real life, but it's a great support, those people at home who are enjoying it from the comfort of your armchairs.
So here we go, another big showdown coming on between Duncan Faris and James Hughes. Oh, I want to see this one. I've known these two guys a long time, and I know they're serious competitors. Raced 4-cross against Duncan a number of times, and been at downhill races a lot of times with James as well. And they both push on hard, so neither of them is going to back down here. We're going to see them pushing all the way to that finish line.
So if you're not going to call it on who you think is going to win, who do you want to win?
Oh, you can't ask me that. That's terrible.
There we go, right.
So here we go. Duncan Faris with a really strong start. He's got the bit between his teeth. He is frustrated, but James Hughes coming back on fire. Oh, look at these two, totally neck and neck. There's no way you can call this. Is either of them going to blink? Duncan Faris.
Just taking that corner there.
All the tape's gone. All the tape's gone.
Taking the course with him.
So,
holding him back.
Duncan had 0.4 of a second to make up into the finish line there from the first semi, and he did go across the line first, but was he 0.4 of a second ahead? James Hughes just, here we see, overstepping that, and just, I think his wheels were the right side of the tape, just everything else wasn't. Crunching it all through, so we're just waiting for the results to come up here.
He just put the tape where he wanted it to be.
I don't know what's going to happen now. Their total times, both total to the same time. 44.3 combined time for both of them, and 44.30. There's not even hundredths of a second in there. They're on exactly the same time. So I don't actually know what happens in this situation now. Are we going to see
turning to me for the rules, but I'm unclear on this situation either. It's so rare. It's so unlikely to have riders that are so evenly matched down to nothing.
Can you believe that they just completely just matched each other's times on the different lanes? So yeah,
unless the clock, maybe one of the tech team can look at the thousandths of a second and see within that who's got it, or maybe they have to do 2 rounds again.
Just asking the organiser there, Nick Hamilton, what happens when they're on the same time, and he says, I'm just going around to the timing tent to find out now. So yeah, we can see the marshals there struggling to get the tape back up. That just shows you you can't even walk up this thing. That's how steep and slippery it is. He's going to have to get his ice.
He needs his spikes on, doesn't he?
Needs an ice axe to get up there.
Well, Sheffield City, they do have a great climbing scene, so I'm sure some people can step in and help with the harnesses.
That's good fun, this spectacle down at the bottom, watching everyone. So here we go, we've got a replay. This is Duncan Faris on the right end of the screen, James Hughes. Look at the power these two are putting down. James Hughes feet up on that inside line, holding it so well, and just, he got his wheels on the right side of the tape. There wasn't the time when he actually took out the tape, but incredible riding between those two.
And you obviously know these riders well. You've known them for an age. You said that you couldn't call it, and how true were those words?
Yeah, I think I can't call it, and no one's able to call it.
Even it can't be called.
Even the stopwatch hasn't been able to call it. Old Father Time doesn't even know what it is.
So I guess there's going to be a little bit of a wait as a discussion goes on and they find out what to do in this circumstance, and also they need to repair the course. They need to put it back together. It's pretty much trashed. And every minute that passes it's getting darker and darker. Dual slalom night racing, it's a whole new beast.
Yeah, it's good fun, these races in the city centre. I've done a few over the years, and I've done I did a hill climb in Bristol actually, which was a Red Bull Hill Chasers, I think it was called, quite a few years ago.
I did that.
Did you?
Was it in Frome?
No, that was a different one. That was,
okay,
there was one in Bristol and then there was one in Frome. Yeah, I actually did both of them. Yeah, back in the days when I was riding for Charge Bikes, and they got involved in all these wonderful and wild events.
I love it because it brings out just the local crowd who don't know anything about bike racing.
Yeah, those hill climb ones are interesting actually. And then I did another one up in Edinburgh that was, was it down? I think that was just I can't remember whether it was a dual or was it just a downhill race actually. So whether it was just against the clock, but yeah, incredible.
I did another one of these city races. Maybe we've crossed paths more times than we realised, but in Edinburgh I did another one of those random city centre races, but it was a hill climb again. I don't know why I did so many of these hill climbs.
Yeah, you're into the hill climbing.
But I hate it. But it is, I mean, it's good fun to watch. And there's a hill climb tomorrow for spectators as part of the Sheffield Outdoors Festival. So if you've seen enough of riders going down the hill, you can watch them going back up it tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks interesting. That is the Magnificent Seven, isn't it? And so they're having 7 hill climbs in one kind of road race, so it's kind of mixing up the format a little bit.
I wasn't sure where the name was. So
you thought it might be a gun. You thought it might be a gunfight, like in the Western.
No, I thought everybody would just be dressed up in fancy dress.
Could have Steve McQueen and Yul Bremner turning up, battle it out. Steve McQueen was always my favourite in the Magnificent Seven for sure. So we can see.
I've just gone quiet as we talk about comic books. Can we start talking about bikes again now?
That's
please?
not comic books. That's a Western.
Oh, whatever.
A Western, you know, with horses and all that stuff. Cowboys. Anyway, so we're back up to the top. We can see. So this is the second heat of the second final, and this is Will Keo, William Easy. William Easy in the orange there, coming in quick. Oh, he's holding. Can he hold on to that pace? It looked like the back end of the bike was swapping around all over the place going through those rollers. Is he going to be able to hold it around here on the outside? Looks like William Easy's just lost some time there. And he has all over the shop. I think he put about 3 extra turns into that final drop there.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing there. I was so sure when he took the lead at the beginning that he would hold it all the way down, but so many mistakes. And the riders coming in from the inside line are generally starting to hit the tape here every time. It must be getting pretty slippery out there. So
there we go. Confirmation that Will Keo will be going into the big final. William Easy, a combined time, he's 0.6 of a second slower, so William Easy will be going into the small final. And I've now got confirmation on the screen, I think this can be confirmed, is that the small final will be William Easy versus Duncan Faris, and the big final will be James Hughes versus Will Keo. So James Hughes, despite having slower times coming through the rounds than Duncan Faris, has actually got the better of Duncan Faris in that semi-final. So James Hughes going into the big final as the favourite, I would say, because Duncan Faris was surely the man to overcome as we were going through those heats. So that's going to be interesting to see Will Keo if he can rise the challenge. And here we go, we're on to the women's now, back to the lasses. And this is the small final.
So
Tony Fryer versus...
place. We've got Tony Fryer here.
And Hannah Saville. Tony Fryer and Hannah Saville here. Looking pretty close. So that looks like Tony Fryer has got the lead there. So that is the first heat of the small final. These two battling it out, as you say, Anna, for 3rd and 4th position on the night. And here we go, on to the first heat of the big final. Our absolute favourite. She's looked flawless apart from that one little glitch in the last heat. So here we go, replay of the first of the small final. Tony Fryer taking that first heat. Back up the top, we're waiting for Nina Hoffman and Anya Tolwinska. This seems to be the only bit that Nina's been slow of, is getting onto the start gate.
Maybe too busy signing autographs for the fans.
And there we go, little look back to the men's race. William Easy getting loose on that final drop into the finish line. So here we go, Nina Hoffman lining up on the start gate. Can she keep her cool? Can she keep the pressure into this big final? And Anya Tolwinska. The thing with this as well is it's like, if she messes it up now, that's all the evening's hard work, you know. All those other rounds kind of don't count for much, do they, if she stuffs this one up?
Do you know, I was just having the same thought myself, actually. It just, there's only one way that it's fair for this to go, but the world isn't always fair, is it?
Very philosophical of you. So yeah, Nina, it's a weird thing, isn't it? Because it's kind of, she's taken the pressure off herself by performing so well all evening, but because she's performed so well, she's put the pressure on herself.
What I think's interesting about the way that she races, that even when she's so sure she's got it in the bag, she still keeps giving it 100%. You can see from the way that she's handling the bike that she's not relaxing. She's not chilling, even when she could maybe take it easier and ride it safer. And we're into the final race now.
Oh no, this is actually the small final of the men's race, so that is Duncan Faris
blame it on being dark. We can't make out the riders at the
Can't
top of
see
the
them.
start line there, but hopefully they can make out the course, which is the only thing that matters. And William Easy putting his foot down there.
So yeah,
But it was enough to get taken through in first place, as I see it.
yeah. So I was going to call Duncan Faris on that one. I was thinking Duncan Faris would be leading out William Easy on performances through the evening, but William Easy just seems to have been upping his game as the night has gone on.
And like
Duncan,
we talked about, go on.
I think Duncan caught himself out a little bit there on that corner. He was ready to sort of exit it later than he should have been, and needed to make a little adjustment. So his weight was a bit all over the place going into that next right-hander.
Plus, there's plenty of variables changing all the time, as we've been talking about. And maybe William Easy's just got better eyesight in the dark. It's a thing.
Definitely. So here we go. I think this is going to be the first heat of the men's final, the big final. James Hughes against Will Keo. Or maybe this might be the women's big final, actually.
So we've been talking about how organised the racing is, and it is absolutely fantastic. We just can't quite make out the riders who are lining up at the top of the start line. As soon as we get that information, we'll give it to you. So we believe that this is round 2 of the Lasses final.
Of the Lasses small final, this is.
Oh.
Heat 2 of the Lasses small final, I think is what we're expecting up there.
So that then will be Tony Fryer lining up against Hannah Saville.
So Tony Fryer getting the better of it in the first heat. But it was close, 25.48 was her time, whereas Hannah Saville was on 25.93.
Cool fact about Tony is that she has a trail dog. So when she goes riding, she takes her little dog Jess with her, who obviously helped her hone her skills for the dual slalom race.
Yeah, I hope she hasn't been dual slaloming round the dog. That'd be...
Well, moving targets is a great way to learn.
So we're getting to the sharp end of it now. Waiting for them to get back up to the top. So we've had the favourites out of the men's race with Brett Penfold and Steve Peat early retirements. Are we going to have the favourite of the women's race take the big final? Nina Hoffman, is she going to make it through? But here we go. This is Tony Fryer versus Hannah Saville.
And it looks like Hannah is in the lead there.
So Hannah has time to make up, and she has come out strong. She only has half a second to make up, and it looks like she's made up that time already. Tony Fryer has really dropped the ball here. She's going to miss out on that bronze medal. Oh, so Tony Fryer, having looked strong after that first heat of the small final, losing it in the second heat. Hannah Saville got the bit between her teeth there, didn't she, and went for it.
She did indeed, considering they have had fairly close racing. She was going for it. She's having none of it, as they say.
So now we go back up to the top, and this is going to be the battle for third place in the men's race, the second heat of the small final. So here we go. This is the first heat of the men's big final. So that's James Hughes against Will Keo. James Hughes got a really good start, but Will Keo has come back strong. He's all over the place coming out that corner. Is he going to be able to take it to James Hughes? James Hughes holding it tight around that. Oh, and that is so tight into the finish, but Will Keo has the advantage from the first heat of the men's big final.
Wow, just goes to show you can ride sketchy as anything, but sometimes that can still be faster.
James Hughes looked in control of that. He had the lead on the top section of the course and then just didn't quite gain as much on the in the middle section, and just like let off the gas a little bit. I think maybe he got a little bit complacent and thought, oh, I've got this, I've got a good lead, I don't need to push it. Will Keo just pushed like crazy. Look at Will Keo here, he's all over the place. That back wheel must have clipped something coming out, and he just put all his weight onto that front wheel and managed to hold on to it, let it swap around all over the place. See James Hughes getting close to that lamppost there, using all of the track. Oh, and as I said before, when the ante got upped for him with Duncan Faris, James Hughes really matched him and beat him.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. So here we go, we're going to the top for the second heat of the men's small final here. So this is William Easy and Duncan Faris. So the two that I would have picked coming through this, Duncan Faris and James Hughes, saying that was the more packed of the semi-finals, are actually coming off worse as it comes into the small final and the big final. So come on guys, these are my old mates, they've got to like pull something out now, a bit of a challenge. So William Easy, he has looked strong all evening. That last heat he got a time of 21.9 against Duncan Faris's 22.46. So Duncan, bit to make up there. I know we're back on the women's. Tony Fryer versus Hannah Saville.
So we're on the lasses minor finals.
So here we go.
This is Hannah Saville and Tony Fryer racing neck and neck. But the blue line does tend to be the quickest as you get towards the bottom of the course there.
So here we go. I missed which one was coming down on that. Which one would have claimed that? So you can see them coming around there in that inside line if you think you've got a bit of advantage. So I think that's Hannah Saville claims third place in the women's race in the small final. So we'll back up at the top. So we think this is going to be the men's small final, heat 2. So this should be William Easy and Duncan Faris in the start gate, ready to do battle.
And this will decide who gets third place, who gets a spot on the podium today. And here they go, they're off out of the darkness.
Duncan Faris with a bit of a slow start down the steps, but making up here. William Easy on fire again through those grass rollers. Oh, and Duncan Faris making light work of that inside turn. He hit that so hard. Oh, and it looks like he's got a slight advantage. Is Duncan Faris going to be able to hold on to it? He is.
Yes, he is.
Oh, so he's basically got half a second to make up. Was he half a second in front there? I think he might be. Duncan Faris, has he got redemption for that first run where he messed up?
That final right-hand corner is starting to look sketchier and sketchier as the evening goes on. It looks like most riders are not able to hold their line as they're coming into the finish place. So we've just got some interviews lined up. We promised some for you, but the racing was getting going faster and faster, and that is basically what we're here for. It's to watch the racing, but it's great to have a chat with some of the riders as well. We said we'd get that for you, so we've got it lined up. Okay, so we've got those interviews lined up with Richard right now outside the commentating tent.
Okay, so I'm just here with the lasses from the small final. We got Tony Fry and Hannah Saville. How was it for you, Hannah?
Oh, really good atmosphere, really enjoyable. I've never made it this far after 3 years, so it's a dream come true to actually get on the podium this time around. So I'm super pleased. Yeah, super pleased.
And was she a tough competitor?
Yeah, definitely. She always is. Always worried about her. Yeah, she's really good.
How many times have you raced here then?
Twice. I raced last year and then this year. So.
Your results been improving?
No, I did better last year actually. I came third last year, but yeah, I'm stoked to be in the final with such fast ladies anyway. So, yeah.
And who would you have your pick for the final?
I'm going to have to say Lena. She's just rapid, man. She was the one that got me out in the semis, so yeah, she is a mile ahead of all of us, I think. Yeah, she's definitely got pedigree there.
Yeah, if you want to add someone to win, it's the person that knocked you out, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I've lost to a worthy competitor if she wins, so yeah, I hope she wins. I think Anya's going to give her a tough one for her money though. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, and great results this evening. Cheers. We'll get back to the racing.
Great camaraderie amongst the women riders, the lasses here in Sheffield. Competitive but supportive, and I think it's fair to say that everybody is touting Lena as the champion today, but we'll wait and see. We're not going to say anything yet, but great to see such competition. And now here is the race that we have been talking about, and it is the first round of the big final of the lasses races. And as we predicted, Lena just went into a flying start. It's got a big lead.
So there we go, Nina Hoffman just showing her absolute class there, taking the lasses big final. Nina Hoffman really just been in a league of her own all evening, hasn't she? And just talking to the two girls there from the small final, Tony Fry and Hannah Saville, they both claimed that Nina was number one for this evening, and I think Nina's proving that case.
Yeah, they said that she's sort of in a class of her own, a league above the rest of the female racers, and while there's been some great, amazing female competition today, Nina just somehow has it. I guess as well it comes from riders coming from different disciplines. Hannah Saville there is, in general, a cyclocross rider. She says that she fares better when she is in amongst the mud. That's her... That is her forte, and she's actually the winner of the under-23s category in the 3 peaks. So if you know anything about that race, it is a really long, tough race with lots of climbing and technical descent. So she's got the skill, but maybe she's also signed up a little bit more for... Oh, sorry, I'm going to stop that. We are going into the racing with James Hughes and Will Keo, sorry.
They're taking each other out.
We saw that this could happen as the riders are getting closer and closer to touching each other.
Oh no, disaster in the men's final there.
It happened.
Will Keo the quickest to get back up though, so Will Keo getting himself down to the bottom. James Hughes and Will Keo coming together as they came out of Chaos Corner. It is called Chaos Corner for a very good reason.
And the crowd
Total
are going
chaos.
mad about it as well. The crowd are calling and cheering and screaming. I don't know what they're thinking, but everybody's on their toes, that's for sure.
So here we go, we've got a replay of this. Oh, that was Will Keo came out of the corner a bit too high and went over into James Hughes' line. So technically there isn't a line between the tracks there. You've just got to get around the next corner. So I'm sure there'll be some debate about that, and I'm sure James Hughes won't be happy because he was sticking on his line there. But Will Keo crashing out from the inside line there. So technically Will Keo has that final and has the gold medal. So let's have another look at this again. Getting up, Will Keo getting up quicker. James Hughes with his bars all twisted round.
Couldn't get back on.
I think he was just shocked. I guess like Will Keo knew it was going wrong before James did. James was just concentrating on his own ride there, and then Will comes flying out from nowhere and takes him out.
Okay, so we've got another interview lined up for you right now. As we've said, we do really enjoy getting an interview for you to watch because you get to see a bit of personality from the riders. It's getting dark, so you don't even get to see what they look like anymore. So obviously we're getting to see some great racing, and that's our priority. But let's just have a little chat with one of the lasses from the races today.
Okay, so I'm here down at the finish area with Nina Hoffman. We spoke to you earlier, and you kind of played down how good you were going to do, but incredible riding, and congratulations on the win.
Yeah, it was so much fun to ride here and to race here. Thanks for the invitation. Great weekend.
So what's been the challenge today? We've seen the track's been getting a bit looser, a bit more slippy rather.
I think the key section was the one left-hander at the end, because this got very slippery and you have to stay very calm there and don't overshoot. So this was a bit hard, and the other parts was so much fun, pushing and all these things.
And the competition here today, there's been some amazing girls riding.
Yeah, they were all very good, and it was cool to race against the girls. It's always fun.
And will we see you here next year?
I hope so. I will be come back because Sheffield is just great. The trails here and the race, cool.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming and spicing up the competition this evening. Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
Back to you, Anna.
Oh, it's nice to see Nina buzzing, and well deserved indeed. Wasn't she an incredible racer? But not just a racer, she's so stylish on her bike. You could just see the way that she was making the bike work for her. She was 100% in control every single second of the course, and it was just great to see somebody riding with so much talent and taking a well-deserved win. I think Sheffield are really proud to have invited her here and to welcome her here and to show off all that they have to offer to such an incredible rider. Anyway, it looks like we're lining up some more interviews for you. In the meantime, we have a replay of that moment when they came out of the berm and took each other out. We're still undecided on what the result of that is. So we'll just wait and see. We'll report back to you as soon as we get that information. We'll pass that over to you. And as I said, we've got some more interviews for you lined up. So Richard, take it away.
I'm here with tonight's winner in the men's category. That was a wild final race, man.
Yeah, it all got a bit heated. I think I just overcooked it a tiny bit, went in real tight. Came out wide, but little clash, I think.
Little clash?
Yeah, I couldn't see him on my right. I was just, I knew I cocked it up a bit, but.
And how's the racing been all evening for you? You looked consistent through most of it.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I didn't even expect to qualify or even get through the first round, but I just kept picking them off on like the second race out of the two. Yeah, I wasn't like, I even got a late entry. I almost like didn't even get an entry for it. I was like emailed in again. I was like, oh, please give me an entry.
I think well deserved that you got that entry.
Yeah, I mean, I've no idea. I mean, hopefully I'll get automatic invite next year.
Yeah, I think you will. You've got to have the right to defend your title.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, you have like Steve Peat, Brett Penfold, and then just some randomer like me coming through.
Well, you've put your name up there amongst them now, man.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't really do any racing, but maybe this will be the start of a few more races to come this year.
Yeah, there's some good racing around, isn't there, around Sheffield especially.
Yeah, I get involved with the little Steel City downhill. I'll be hopefully doing that again next year. I did it for the first time last year. Because I haven't been doing mountain bikes that long. Just came to university and started riding with the club, so yeah, hopefully a few more things to come.
Sweet, so you're at the university just behind here then, yeah?
Yeah, I'm at Uni of Sheffield. Joined like 3 years ago. Started mountain biking with the club, but I used to do a lot of motocross racing before that. Never really done any mountain biking, so the boys have trained me up a bit. So yeah, now I'm standing here, it's pretty crazy.
Brilliant, well it looks to be going well, and glad you came along to give us a show tonight.
I appreciate it.
Cheers, man. Back to you, Anna.
There's so much to take away from that interview. We weren't sure who took the win, and just to see, like, the underdog take the win, like the through and through underdog. A bit of a controversial win in the end as well, but it's so good to see. Oh, so we've just got the podiums on the screen now. So we've got the lasses podiums. Of course, in first place, that is Nina Hoffman, who Richard has just interviewed. That was a great interview there.
Yes, we had Nina Hoffman, incredible rider, came over, and yeah, it was a contrast. We got Nina Hoffman, the favourite in the women's category, taking the win, solid races all the way through this evening. And then we got Will Keo, as he was saying, not even been riding mountain bikes long, bit of motocross experience, happens to be here at Union, thought he'd have a race.
He wasn't even sure if he could get an entry at first, and here he is going to be taking the top step of the podium.
Absolutely incredible riding there by Will Keo. A bit controversial that he took out his competitor in the last heat of the big final. But yeah, fair's for all's fair in love and war, as they say, and yeah, absolutely incredible that he managed to take that win. So good on Will Keo. And yeah, I think that just takes it for us to say that's it for the Howard Street Duel. Thanks again for the Sheffield Hallam University for letting us use their land. And if you want more bike action, get yourselves over to Bradfield tomorrow for the Magnificent 7. So just leaves it me to say thank you, Anna, for joining us this evening, and what an incredible evening of racing here at Sheffield.
It's been amazing. So yeah, thank you.
Let's hope.
One of the classic cracks of the Peak. 3 stars though.
Cool. How do we get there?
Pretty amazing. Sheffield City Centre.
You could get a bus or a train straight from the peaks into the city.
It's the first move, where you do like a sort of throw up there.
He was amazing. That's it. Get
lovely.
that wheel on.
You'll be okay.
Technical climb. I'm going to be fit after this.
Okay, we're climbing. It's so good! Woohoo!